On a night illuminated by the full moon, the tale begins in the lair of one of the mightiest dragons from ancient times, wounded, and with a sword plunged into its chest by a human hero. Strangely, it does not resist. Instead, it remains bound by chains. Taking a deep breath, it speaks. I have never harmed humans. Rather, I allied with them and aided them at times. Yet, I don't know why they seek to kill me. I don't blame you, hero, for you have your reasons. Do as you will. Suddenly, the chains break. It raises its head to the moon as if extends its hand toward it, and its body begins to crumble. Its final words are, "Perhaps this is a strange end for a dragon of ancient times." Its soul sinks into darkness, yet a sudden light pierces the void, and it sees a man and woman gazing at it tenderly, calling it by a new name. "How are you, Dolan?" And so begins its second life. Years pass, and we see him as a 16-year-old youth, living in the village of Veron on the borders of the kingdom of Arkest. He has left his family's home to live independently, working in agriculture to earn his daily bread. One day, while hunting with his brother, the latter asks about his intention to investigate the abandoned swamp since the lizard folk vanished a month ago. Dolan replies that he will go alone, as the village leader is preoccupied with protecting the village. After returning from the hunt, he meets his friends Molly and Albert, who remind him of his journey. He tells them he's been ready for days, and thanks them for convincing the village elder to allow him to leave. That evening, young Lily comes to remind him of training, and he teaches her magic while she urges him to focus more on healing potions, his weakest skill. At dusk, he visits the village elder, accompanied by a girl with white hair named Christina, a knight from a noble family who will stay among them for a time. Dolan meets her and senses her strength. He returns home to dine with his family, where his mother asks about his journey and expresses worry, but he reassures her. The next morning he stands at the village gate, bidding farewell to his friends. While Lily's grandmother warns him of great danger awaiting him, he smiles reassuringly and sets off. Upon reaching the swamp, he finds it empty. Touching the water, he senses the earth's energy is strong, while the water's energy is weak. Suddenly, he hears movement behind the trees and prepares to fight, but a girl appears, her lower half like a serpent from the Lamia race. She tells him he's reckless for coming alone, and he's surprised by her presence. Before they can continue, a massive beast attacks her. Dolan intervenes, saving her by severing the beast's arm, and they flee to hide. Dolan explains to the girl that the beast is an earth monster, the reason the lizard folk fled the swamp. She introduces herself as Selena, and when asked if she knows magic, says her magic doesn't affect earth beasts, but recalls a rare spell that might harm it. They decide to attack together. When facing the beast, it hurls mud balls at them, but Dolan deflects them while Selena summons a giant serpent to bind it. Dolan warns her the spell won't hold long, and indeed, the beast breaks free. He enhances his sword with dragon magic and cleaves it in two with one strike. The beast turns to sludge, spreading across the ground and knocking Selena down. Dolan rushes to ensure she's safe, noticing stones falling from the beast's body. As night falls, they take shelter in a hut and share a meal. Selena asks if he fears her, and he replies that she's different from the Lamia he knows, who are often hostile to humans. When he asks why she's there, she explains that their tradition requires a girl, upon turning 17, to seek a partner as their race, all female, stems from a cursed human woman whose venom passed to her descendants, requiring a partner resistant to the poison. They spend the night in the hut, and in the morning, Selena prepares to continue her journey while Dolan returns to his village. At their parting, he transfers a bit of his life energy to her, as her kind feeds on it, but she collapses, overwhelmed by its potency. He helps her up and asks her to visit him in Verona someday to meet his family. As Selena travels alone, she encounters two human men who initially speak to her normally, but flee in fear upon discovering she's a Lamia. Meanwhile, Dolan is at grandmother Maguro's house, helping Lily train in preparing healing potions, though his skill is lacking while Lily excels quickly. He reflects that dragons of old needed no healing, perhaps why he never mastered it. The grandmother reassures him she'll train him herself until he improves. Later, he joins Lily's family for dinner, where they perform a ritual thanking Mother Nature Miral, whom Dolan knows personally from ancient times. After dinner, he helps his friend Albert train young children, who are thrilled to see him, but he suddenly feels a strange sensation from the forest. Not wanting to worry anyone, he says nothing and returns to the spot alone at night, finding Selena there. He asks why she's back after saying she'd continue her journey. She replies that she tried to connect with humans, but they flee from her, and he was the first to treat her without fear, so she returned seeking his help. Dolan thought for a moment and suggested to Selena that she live with them in the village. She was surprised at first, saying people would fear her as a monster, but he reassured her, insisting he had a plan to make them accept her once they knew her true nature. The next day, the villagers were shocked to find fish from river monsters left for them for 3 consecutive days, along with signs pointing to Alamia's presence. The villagers gathered to discuss, and the guard captain, Maple, declared they must eliminate her immediately. While others warned of her strength and suggested seeking aid from the capital, Dolan listened to the debate, realizing the gap between humans and monsters, yet remained convinced they'd accept Selena if they truly knew her. Grandmother Meguro intervened, noting the Lamia hadn't harmed anyone, and left food, a sign of good intent. Then Lily announced that the prophecy results were in, interpreting the serpent's appearance as a sign of good fortune. Overjoyed, Dolan rushed to tell Selena it was time for the final phase of his plan. The next day, Captain Maple organized a military drill to prepare for a possible attack. Dolan attended, focusing on the priestess Listia, who represented Mother Nature Morale's voice, as her word would decide Selena's fate. The plan was simple. Dolan would feign danger, and Selena would save him in front of everyone. But suddenly, a soldier rushed in, announcing danger. Not the Lamia, but a massive armored bear attacking. Maple ordered a retreat, as it could kill with one blow. A child, the captain's son, fell, and the bear charged. Dolan rushed to save him, but Selena appeared, taking the blow herself. Facing the bear, she stared into its eyes and calmly said, "Return to the forest." To everyone's shock, the bear retreated in fear. The Lamia not only saved the child, but tamed the bear without fighting. Dolan ran to check on her. She was injured. The captain drew his sword, shouting for her to stay away from his son. Dolan intervened, returning the child and pleading with Maple not to harm her after her actions. But Maple insisted she was still a monster and a threat. He asked why and why she saved his son. Sitting on the ground, she replied, "I mean no harm. My father was human. I'm half human, half Lamia. I did this so their families wouldn't grieve losing loved ones." Hearing her, the villagers consulted Priestess Listia, who wept and said, "Mother Nature Miral says Selena is good. Live with her in peace." The people rejoiced, and Listia personally welcomed Selena, but she fainted from blood loss. And after her recovery, they built her a house. She entered it overjoyed, thanking everyone. At that moment, Dolan reintroduced himself to Selena, as if meeting her for the first time. She gave a faint smile, and from that day, she officially became part of Veron village. The next day, she quickly bonded with the villagers, while Dolan thought alone about his friend Miral and what happened with the priestess. That night, his soul left his body in its astral dragon form. He soared to a dreamlike city and met Miral, thanking her for helping Selena. He asked how she knew it was still him despite his human form. She said she felt his soul and could never mistake it, adding she always saw him resentful as a dragon. He replied that the hero's stab left him empty, but his short human life was full of meaning and joy. Miral smiled, noting his heart's newfound purity, and he thanked her before parting. In the morning, Dolan woke to Selena calling him to work with Christina in the fields. In the city, a child distributed newspapers announcing updates on missing women. At the academy, a letter from Christina, the academy's pride, arrived. The harsh life there and training daily with villagers who warmly accepted her. She mentioned easily defeating the guard captain, earning an invitation to dinner. One day, while training alone, Selena and Dolan visited Christina, noticing her sadness. Selena invited her to her home. Sitting together, Christina shared her fear of rejection, but found the villagers kind and grew to love them. The next day, they went to the famous Sobia juice shop, which Christina loved. The captain challenged her to a drinking contest. She drank massively, outlasting him to win. Later writing that the village became dear to her, its people like family. The academy director was pleased with her letter, but during a lavish city party, news spread of a Lamia in Veron. A government sorceress, Kirin, claimed the Lamia was dangerous and possibly linked to the missing women. The director defended Selena's kindness, but Kieran insisted she was a threat to investigate. The commissioner overseeing Veron announced he'd send forces immediately. Meanwhile, Dolan, Selena, and Christina were farming when a guard urgently summoned them to the village gate. There, the commissioner had ordered guards to surround Selena. The priestess defended her, saying it defied Moral's will. Moral said Selena wasn't evil, but the commissioner replied he didn't dispute that. Yet, an investigation was needed to ensure she wasn't a threat. Dolan interjected, saying he brought Selena to the village and requested to accompany her. The commissioner agreed. Furious, Christina swore she wouldn't stay silent, cast a wind spell, and sped to the city to confront the director. In the carriage, Selena sat sadly, blaming herself for Dolan's trouble, but he reassured her everything would be fine. Meanwhile, Christina reached the director's office, reporting the commissioner's actions. The director calmed her, saying he lacked authority, and Kieran, a powerful government sorceress, fueled doubts about Selena, falsely linking her to the missing women despite her known innocence. In the forest, a guard woke them, saying the commissioner needed them. They found Jude waiting, but his words were unclear, only shock visible on their faces. Back to Christina, stunned by Kieran's influence and how rumors swayed people, while the director pondered greater worries. Later, Selena and Dolan met Kieran, who welcomed them and asked why Dolan was there. He said he accompanied Selena. She invited them to dinner at her palace and ordered Jude to prepare a report. At the table, Dolan thanked her hospitality and asked about Selena's status. Kieran said they'd prepare papers for her to live in Veron officially. Relieved, Selena admitted her prior fear of being killed by soldiers. Kieran smiled, saying she understood due to fear of cursed Lamia eyes, but saw purity in Selena's, harmless to anyone. In the director's office, Jude requested a private talk. Christina anxiously asked about Selena and Dolan. Jude revealed the truth. The missing women cases tied to a human sorceress living for 300 years. Impossible without forbidden magic. They suspected she prolonged her life using women's bodies, and that sorceress was Kieran, who took Selena for this purpose. The director and Christina decided to act immediately to save her. In Kieran's palace, Selena was bound before her, captivated by her beauty, intending to skin her for rituals. But Dolan's voice ordered her to stop. Kieran, shocked he wasn't unconscious as she thought, asked how the potion didn't affect him. Meanwhile, he noticed magical circles on the ground. Dolan asked Kieran how many she had killed. She laughed, saying she stopped counting after 100, taking what made each victim beautiful to stay young. Dolan called it forbidden magic and asked if she'd made a dark pact. She confirmed, listing a hand from a spider's daughter, a leg from a human-like creature, skin from 1,000, and now it was time for the Lamia's skin. Selena awoke and asked if Kieran had deceived her victims as she did her. Kieran mocked that their lives were worthless compared to her beauty. Then Dolan and Selena revealed a small magical device, transmitting sound, exposing everything. Suddenly, Jude, the director, and Christina stormed in to arrest Kieran. The director said, "You plan to frame Selena for the kidnappings, kill her, and take her body." Enraged, Kieran recounted being born deformed, watching beauty from afar until she learned to steal it. A flashback showed her as a sad child staring in a mirror before becoming a killer. Then she screamed, defying everyone, as her body turned monstrous. She attacked, demanding the Lamia, but Selena faced her with cursed eyes, freezing her. But Kieran broke free and tried striking Selena. Christina blocked her, cutting off fingers that quickly regrew. The fight intensified. Kieran used dark magic, sprouting eyes on her body, so powerful the director warned that summoning spirits here would bury them all. Dolan intervened, drawing magical circles on the ground, confronting Kieran, asking if she was content with what she'd become. She screamed she'd reached perfection, but he countered that bloodstained hands could never touch true beauty. He unleashed his power, trapping her in a celestial shield, then crushed her with a devastating spell, ending her for good. He stood tall, everyone watching in silence. The next day, Dolan, Selena, and Christina met in the director Bolivia's palace. She presented official papers from Jude, proving Selena was a kingdom citizen with the right to live in Veron. Then Denzel, grandmother Maguro's son, arrived, met Selena, and offered to take them on a city tour. During it, a child dropped bread, and Selena tried helping, but his mother rushed to him in fear, and people grew wary despite her smile hiding her pain. When it was time to leave, Denzel offered Dolan a spot at the academy for his strength, But Dolan declined, preferring to protect his village. The director insisted his pure soul would benefit greatly, so he promised to consider it, while Selena looked sad. On the way, Christina asked Dolan's thoughts. He said he was unsure, then asked her opinion. She said the academy offered more than their small village, and he agreed. That night, in the forest, an elf witnessed a terrifying sight. A dark portal opened, releasing a swarm of giant ants. The ants attacked mercilessly, killing many. When a companion checked on another, he found him dead. The next day, Dolan trained with the village children, while Selena watched from afar, recalling Denzel's academy offer, fearing he might leave her someday. Then Christina approached Dolan, asking him to join her in exploring the forest, having heard of powerful monsters there. They set out with Captain Delane and 2 soldiers. Upon arriving, the captain left with the soldiers to scout. Suddenly, a huge tiger attacked a soldier, but the captain killed it. Thinking the danger was over, they were ambushed by giant ants, injuring the captain. Dolan rushed to help, realizing the attacker wasn't an ordinary beast, but a Zert demon. Dolan and Christina fought it, defeating it, but Dolan asked Christina not to tell the villagers to avoid panic. Upon returning, everyone checked on the captain, who was only wounded. When Christina asked if such a thing had appeared before, he said no. Internally, Dolan thought the tiger's appearance was odd, but a demon's presence meant something sinister was brewing in the forest. Meguro noticed the captain's wound wasn't from a tiger, but another creature. Dolan decided to investigate alone, but despite her initial refusal, Meguro agreed if someone accompanied him. Christina offered, but the captain refused since she was from the academy. Selena stepped in, offering her magical abilities, and Dolan agreed. The next day, they set out together, but Christina appeared, saying she was passing by and decided to join, feeling part of the village and wanting to defend it. On the way, spiders attacked, but they defeated them. Then a giant ape attacked Christina, but Selena tamed it, feeding it an apple, and it calmed. Oddly, small apes surrounded Dolan affectionately. They shared food with the beasts, wondering why such powerful creatures were driven from their homes, and if a greater danger was behind it. Suddenly, a small orb appeared with a fairy inside, warning them to leave. At that moment, another Zert demon attacked. Christina killed the first, but more came. Dolan faced a dual assault, forced to reveal a fraction of his dragon power in his arm to defeat them. Selena saved Christina with a snake spell. After the battle, the fairy awoke, introducing herself as Marl, saying she was fleeing a demon attack. Dolan said the scout's presence meant stronger demons were coming. Christina asked Marl what was happening, but Dolan sensed they were being watched. They lowered their weapons to show peaceful intent, and the elves and their leader, Gyo, appeared. Gyo demanded Marl return with them, thanked Dolan and his companions for saving her, but stressed the forest belonged to the elves and asked their purpose. Dolan explained he was investigating the danger, as many monsters were attacking their village. Gyo replied it was bigger than that, declaring they were at war with a demon army, then ordered them to leave the forest immediately. Christina angrily shouted at Gyo, "How can you face demons alone with such strength? You need help, and don't worry, we'll give all we can." Realizing their sincerity, the elves lowered their weapons. Dolan thought, if an entire demon army has entered the forest, there must be an open portal between the human and demon worlds. If it widens, stronger demons will cross, and it must be destroyed quickly, even if I have to use my dragon soul's power. He turned to Gyo, saying, "Your strength alone isn't enough. Let us help." Gyo hesitated, but when the elves agreed, he did too, extending his hand for a handshake. Suddenly the ground shook, and a dark pillar rose to the sky. Dolan thought, "That beam! The portal is fully open." 2 massive demons emerged with an imposing young girl, announcing they were a vanguard for the Demon King. They decided their game was to kill the first elf they faced. In the elf village, the attack began. A giant demon, Gyold, unleashing a magical strike that shattered defenses. Meanwhile, Dolan and his companions fought their way to the village, facing lesser demons. Using magical stones, Christina with wind, Selena with earth, and Dolan with fire, they swiftly defeated the enemies, impressing Gyo with their strength. In the village square, the flower spirit Diadro intervened, binding Gyold with vines that drained his energy, mocking, "I didn't expect one of the Demon King's 4 knights to be this weak." But the demon girl freed him, introducing herself as Rafila, one of the 4 knights, vowing to make Diadro suffer. Diadro tried summoning spirits, but Rafila mocked that she'd killed them all on her way. Furious, Diadro attacked, scarring Rafila's face. Enraged, Rafila and Gaiold struck Diadro down with a powerful blow, draining her energy until she nearly perished. But a massive strike from the sky dispelled the attack, and from the smoke emerged the hero Dolan. He rushed to check on Diadro, but a demon ambushed him from behind. Christina blocked it with her sword at the last moment. Dolan swiftly countered, slashing the demon's neck, forcing it to retreat. Then Rafila ambushed them from behind, but an arrow hit her, knocking her back, her face twisted with rage, especially as she was wounded again. Dolan said firmly, "You're in the elf village now, in their sights, so prepare yourself." But the ground shook again, and a bright light appeared, like before. Rafila exclaimed joyfully, "Finally, he has arrived." From the portal emerged a terrifying demon, radiating authority. Gyold brandished his sword, shouting, "We must finish them before his presence stabilizes." And Selena, furious and ready to fight, summoned her snakes. This time, a massive 7-headed serpent appeared, attacking the demon with full force. Meanwhile, Dolan combined fire and earth in a powerful spell, hurling it at Rafila, knocking her back. Diadro supported the assault, while Selena succeeded in binding the demon with her giant snakes. Dolan didn't stop. He crafted a deadly weapon from earth and fire and struck the demon, but the blow was blocked by a strange weapon wielded by a 3rd demon who ambushed Selena. At that moment, Gaiold broke free from the snake's grip, preparing to attack, but Christina intercepted him at the last second. He looked at her in shock, saying, "A human. Your strength is unnatural." She replied firmly, "Finally, an opponent worth fighting." Then she unleashed her spell, vanishing momentarily and reappearing behind him, slashing a deep wound in his neck. Selena focused on the 3rd demon, using earth magic to bind him with a massive hand, then attacked with all her might. But he remained unharmed. She tried her snake curse again, but he mocked, "You're too weak to waste my time." He shattered the snake with one blow, and nearly killed her with his axe. But Dolan intervened just in time, blocking the attack and delivering a powerful strike that forced the demon back. Then Dolan declared, "This battle is over." But the atmosphere shifted abruptly as a terrifying energy emerged, and the 4th demon appeared. Dolan instantly noticed he was different, not underestimating his foes. The demon drew his sword, saying, "It's been ages since I faced humans this strong." Dolan attacked, retorting, "I'm Dolan. Try to remember that name." Their swords clashed, and the demon acknowledged his opponent's strength, adding with a smile, "I know someone with that name, but I doubt you're related." He suddenly sensed a strange energy from Dolan as his dragon power flickered briefly. The demon regained balance and attacked with fiery magic, but Dolan countered it. Everyone was amazed at his ability to stand against such a demon. Even the demon himself showed surprise. Dolan said, "I thought you were like other demons, but you're truly strong. Are you one of the fallen rulers?" The demon grinned. "I didn't expect a human this perceptive." Dolan knew the demon might overpower him in human form, but using his dragon form would destroy the village. The battle intensified, the demon growing more excited. He gathered immense mana, and the other 2 demons attacked Dolan from behind, but a massive force erupted from him as part of his dragon power surfaced, easily repelling the assault and knocking them away. Then the 4th demon prepared his ultimate attack, saying, "If you block this, I'll acknowledge you as a true enemy. It's one of my supreme techniques." The terrifying strike launched, but Dolan stood bravely, unleashing his inner dragon power and dispelling the attack. The demon laughed, saying, "This is the thrill I've been waiting for." Seeing Dolan's concern for those behind him, the 4th demon plunged his sword into the ground and said, "I won't fight now. We'll withdraw. In 3 days, we'll return with full forces, and you'll have 2 choices: join the demon army or perish." Then he left with his companions, thinking, "I didn't expect to face him here." And it seems he knows Dolan's true nature. Selena and Christina rushed to check on Dolan, who assured them he was fine. Then Gaiold took them to the leader, Dio, who thanked them and introduced the tribal leaders, Vilek the werewolf and Sin the human spider. He explained that humans like them needed someone who lived among humans as a bridge, and Olivia, Christina's director, entered, revealing this forest was her original home, and she returned upon hearing the news. Dio declared he wouldn't wait for the demon's deadline, and planned to attack the next day to destroy the portals. He asked for Dolan and his companions' help, while Olivia noted she'd called for kingdom support, but it would take time. Dolan vowed they'd do all they could to prove their trustworthiness. On the other side, the demon Georg stood by the portal, preparing, recalling an old battle when he was an angel fighting, the day the ancient dragon annihilated demon hordes, its name alone sparking fear. Now he was certain that dragon was none other than Dolan, in human form. Dolan left the palace to find Diodro alone, wounded deeply by Rafilla. He asked to heal her, using his life energy until the wound closed before her eyes. She admitted she no longer saw him as a normal human, but he asked her to treat him as one for now. At night, noticing Selena's absence, he found her gazing at the moon, trembling. Approaching, she confessed she didn't fear fighting, but her fear of the demon's killing intent made her hesitate while her friends were in danger. Dolan smiled, saying Lamia were never the monsters people claimed, and urged her to stay true to herself. He gave her a magical gem he crafted to protect her. Christina joined, and the three sat gazing at the moon together. At dawn, everyone prepared for battle. The plan involved a main portal and 3 sub-portals to destroy. The teams moved out, with Dolan and his companions assigned to the main portal. On the way, Selena saw a strange light from one portal and chose to join Gaio's team instead. Dolan urged her to return safely, then continued with Christina toward their target. At the main portal, Georg awaited. At the first portal, Gyold faced the human spider team, who struggled against him. At the second, Rafilla appeared, but Diodro confronted her, sealing the area with a flower barrier to block interference. At the third, where Glyn stood, Gio's team with Selena arrived, but their attacks didn't faze him. Selena unleashed a massive earth spell, raining rocks from the sky, stunning everyone with her power. When asked why she didn't go to the main portal, she said she left it to Dolan and Christina, but Glyn broke free, eager to fight. In the carriage, Christina worried for Selena, but Dolan reassured her, mentioning the protective gem. They were told they neared the second portal, where Gyold stood. The human spider team struggled, so Christina jumped out to face him. She struck him with a powerful magical blow, knocking him back. He cheered, "Finally, a worthy opponent, though I wished to face Dolan." She engaged him in fierce combat, breaking his armor, though it regenerated. Yet she pressed on relentlessly. Dolan, using dragon wings, sped to the main portal where Georg waited. Meanwhile, Diodro faced Rafilla head-on, but struggled against her mist, which drained spirit energy and nullified spells. Injured and falling, Diodro resorted to the Black Flowers, a dangerous power that absorbed the enemy's energy. Just like Rafilla, the clash between Diodro and Rafilla began, but Rafilla's energy was stronger, draining Diodro's. Then Diodro asked, "Like my energy? It's the last you'll taste." Suddenly, Rafilla felt intense pain as black flowers sprouted from her body, binding her. Diodro revealed the battle ended the previous night when she planted a magical thorn inside her, making the attack erupt from within. Rafilla screamed before being consumed by the flowers and vanishing completely. Diodro collapsed, exhausted, as lesser demons surrounded her, thinking her end was near. But arrows rained from the sky, killing them. Fired by Dolan, she fainted. Later she awoke in a healing circle Dolan created, dragon wings visible. She asked if he wasn't human. He said he was born human, but his soul was an ancient dragon's. He announced he was heading to the main portal, but she offered to join. He refused, as the fight there required freedom of movement, and she urged him not to use his full power to avoid destroying the forest. Meanwhile, Selena was pierced by a branch during her fight with Glyn. The elves tried healing her, but the gem Dolan gave her activated, healing her instantly. They urged her to flee, but guilt over her hesitation and fear of death, despite wanting to fight, weighed on her. Hearing battle sounds, her fear for her friends pushed her back. Thanks to the gem, her body responded, and she saved Gio from a lethal blow with massive magical chains. But Glyn broke free, thrilled to kill her himself, and powerful earth spells. Selena faced him, summoning her giant magical snake, then used her cursed eyes to freeze him, calling the massive snake to attack. In a critical moment, the gem activated, flooding her with energy, transforming her into a dragon-like form. With one strike, she obliterated Glyn, leaving Gyo stunned and Selena relieved. Meanwhile, Dolan pressed on, crossing the main portal with Georg into the demon world. There, he revealed his true dragon form, igniting Georg's excitement to fight at full strength. A brutal battle ensued, the demon using his strongest techniques. But Dolan endured and countered with greater force. He severed the demon's arms one by one, then cleaved him in half with his sword, proving he'd only shown a fraction of his dragon power. Before dying, the demon praised his fighting spirit, honored to fall by his hand. Outside the portal, the leaders considered closing it to end the threat, even if it trapped Dolan inside. Selena protested, certain he wouldn't lose, so they agreed to keep it open. After victory, Dolan stood tall, while a demoness watched from afar, smiling, saying he never vanished and just needed to wait for her. As someone emerged from the portal, everyone raised their weapons, only to be shocked that it was none other than the hero Dolan himself. Selena ran to Dolan, embracing him, relieved he was safe, and they finally destroyed the portal, ending the evil and saving the forest. That night, celebrations filled the air with singing and dancing. But Dolan sat alone until he heard singing from the forest and followed it, finding Christina performing an old song about heroes defeating an evil dragon with help from the ancient white dragon. When she finished, he clapped, and she realized he'd been listening from the start. He asked about the song, and she said it was passed down in her family, but incomplete. He asked her thoughts, then mused, whoever the white dragon was, it must have cherished its friendship with the hero. The next day, everyone prepared to leave. Olivia thanked them and urged Dolan to join the academy, but he said he was still thinking. Dio gave him magical healing seeds, and they bid farewell before returning to their village. That night, something strange pierced Dolan's body, and he collapsed, but he awoke in the morning as if nothing happened. He gazed at his farm, telling the children an old tale about the founder dragon, the first dragon on Earth, who, feeling lonely, tore its body to birth dragon lineages: the destroyer, the swift, the wise, the piercing, Lifasin, the fiery, and finally, from its heart and soul, the ancient dragon who ruled all, none other than Dolan in his past life. The children listened in awe. Even Diadro and Christina were moved. One whispering the story felt like a real memory she'd lived. Over time, the village thrived. Trade opened with the elves, and Dolan's fame grew, making him beloved. One day, Selena asked him to join her and Captain Dalen on a hunting trip. On the way, she mentioned a den of armored bears. They attacked, and she summoned her snakes to drive them out. Then the soldiers and captain slaughtered them mercilessly, even a scared cub. Dolan objected, saying they harmed no one and were returning to their den. Why kill them? But the captain, furious, insisted bears were predators, and if they attacked humans, no one would justify it. Selena coldly said monsters were worthless, shocking Dolan, who felt something was deeply wrong. Back at his farm, Lily asked why he cared for farming when he'd soon leave. Surprised, he asked who said that, and she replied a meeting was set, and the villagers planned to leave, seeing no future here. Dolan rushed to the meeting, asking if it was true. The captain confirmed the village was done, and they needed new opportunities. Everyone gave him strange looks, telling him he knew nothing and to stay quiet. Feeling alienated, he wondered, am I the only one who loves this village? The next day, people left one by one, even grandmother Maguro, but Dolan chose to stay. Hilton refused to leave too, and his mother hugged him, saying she trusted he'd be fine because he wasn't ordinary. Dolan was puzzled by her words. Soon, Christina confronted him, angrily calling him a fool for staying alone. Dolan, confused by Christina's words, went to Selena's house and found her cooking. They ate, but suddenly an explosion came from his house. He rushed to find it burning, with Christina and the remaining villagers setting it ablaze. She said, "Since you're so attached to this house, you'll have nothing left here." She tried burning his farm, but he stopped her. Looking at Selena, He saw her with a packed bag. He begged them not to abandon him, but Christina replied that everyone knew his true nature, and there was no place for him among humans. He collapsed into darkness, hearing a voice say everything he lived was an illusion, and humans never would accept him. Opening his eyes, he found himself in a strange place, in his true dragon form, realizing it was all a dream since his death and return. A girl's voice told him he wasn't human and must reclaim his identity. But Selena appeared in his realm, recognizing him even as a dragon. The voice, shocked, asked how she entered, while Dolan asked if Selena remembered him. She answered, recalling, "You're Dolan from Veron village." He smiled, lifted her, and reassured her to awaken with the morning, and she vanished. Turning to the voice, he said, "I know you. You're Clavis, ruler of destruction, one of the mightiest fallen titans." She appeared, smirking, confirming he tried escaping his truth, living among humans under a hero's protection. He admitted it, but added his human life taught him the meaning of weakness and will, and now he knew his path, no matter the challenges. Clavis said she came not as a friend, but an enemy to kill him, summoning a black dragon. Shockingly, Dolan defeated it in one blow, leaving her stunned and saddened. She asked why he kept his power despite being reborn. He explained the Titans cursed him with the clone curse, weakening his soul each time he died, and returned until it faded. Moved, she said, despite everything, she considered him a friend, and he echoed the sentiment. She smiled, bidding farewell, and left as the scene crumbled. Dolan awoke in his bed as if nothing happened. Selena entered, and he suddenly asked, "If you met an armored bear, what would you do?" She replied, "I'd use my cursed eyes to send it back to its den." He laughed, relieved to be back in reality. He took her to Christina, announcing he'd joined the magical academy. When asked why, he shared the nightmare that revealed his love for his village and desire to protect it. Christina praised him, but Selena remained anxious about his departure. After farewells, he left for the academy, passing the entrance exam, but Clavis lingered invisibly beside him, unseen by others. The teacher said the next day would bring a practical test. In the forest, a hunting team with a distracted, sad Selena went out. During combat, she nearly harmed a teammate with her snake spell, apologizing in confusion. That night, back home, lost in thought, she wondered why Dolan's departure hurt so much. She realized she truly loved him. She wished to join him but knew as a Lamia, the academy wouldn't accept her. So, she began packing to leave the village. Selena expressed her love for Veron village. While at the academy, Dolan met Denzel, who congratulated him for finishing the written exam quickly and was excited to see him as a student. Dolan smiled and asked about something important, but the scene shifted to the village, where Dolan returned to Selena's house. Knocking, he got no answer, entered, and found it empty, with 2 letters, one for the villagers, one for him. In her letter to Dolan, Selena apologized for leaving without goodbye, saying his progress inspired her to continue her journey, thanking him and the villagers for their love and welcome. Reading the letter, Dolan took off in his dragon form to catch her. Selena, resting in the forest, sensed a dragon's shadow above, tensing, thinking it an enemy, but was shocked to see Dolan. Flustered, she shouted, and they walked together to where they first met, the scenery enchanting. There, Dolan apologized for deciding on the academy without consulting her. She apologized for leaving abruptly. He surprised her, saying he asked the academy if students could bring their monsters, and they agreed if bound by a magical contract. Overjoyed inside, Selena suddenly shouted, refusing to go, insisting Lamia were rejected by humans and she'd hinder him. She fell into the lake, and Dolan dove in, saving her, saying none of that mattered. He just wanted her by his side. She hugged him, crying, admitting she truly wanted to be near him. Denzel appeared later with Selena's acceptance letter, making her officially able to join Dolan. Grandmother Maguro performed the magical contract binding them, making Selena Dolan's personal monster. At farewell time, Dolan, Selena, and Christina prepared to leave for the academy, waving to the villagers. In the carriage, starting a new chapter, Dolan looked at Selena and said after this phase, he wanted to visit her village with her, a sign he admired her too. Thus ends this chapter of the story. heralding a new adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.